Everybody, Main Brew Guy here. We're going to start out 2020 with a Brewtubers Yeast Experiment. So if you go to the Brewtubers website, you'll see a link that says Experiments at the top on the menu bar. If you click Experiments, you'll be able to go down to Yeast Experiment and view the rules. There are only 12 slots, but it's kind of similar to, if you all remember, but way back in the day, we did the Hokie Homebrew Yeast Challenge Experiment, whatever you wanted to call it back then. And we did an ESB, and we did, one hub, similar to Mike Dean's hop experiment, which is all in line with what Hokie had done in the past. Hokie Homebrew Ben is actually was told he was going to participate in this one as well. So for nostalgia's sake, we'll get Ben involved as well. Anyway, the slots will fill up quickly, so sign up. The sign up is January 1st through the end of the month. The first 12 get in. If as many people can sign up as possible, that's fine, because if we see that there are 24 people that sign up, we can split up the experiment in 2 hubs. So that's fine. I'd like to get everybody involved that wants to get involved. At any rate, it's a West Coast IPA. I had Dan Dessa, let's take a look at the recipe as well. And we made some tweaks. Also, Nick and Brandon also made some tweaks on the recipe. And I ran it by Mike Dean as well. So the recipe base seems to be, everybody seems to be on board with it. It's nothing fancy. It's really to showcase the yeast, but we also wanted to brew a recipe that people like to drink, which West Coast IPAs are fairly still popular. And there's a lot less things to go wrong with adjuncts like in the New England IPA. So we decided to use a West Coast basic, simple West Coast IPA, kind of old school, not Mike's old school recipe, but similar to the hopping schedule is similar. Anyway, the big to-do about this is that one of the complaints we had when we did the Hokie Homebrew experiment was there were too many variables because of the water profiles. People were saying, well, I taste all kinds of different off flavors that are not related to yeast and hops and recipe that are related to water profile. So it was kind of hard to get a true understanding what the yeast did to the ESB. So I think most of the brewers today are at least understanding that the water is 90% of their brewing. So crappy water makes crappy beer, period. So we're going to require everybody that is in the experiment to either use distilled water or RO water, and then the chemistry will be added to your water profile depending on how much water you use, which will include the formula in the tools. I'll have to make something here. It's not there yet, but it will be before we start to brew, which would be in February. So sign up is in January to the end of January. It gives you plenty of time to get your supplies that you may need, although we tried to pick items that most people would have in their current inventory. The only thing you may need to locate is some yeast. But that gives you the whole month of February to brew it. And then at the end of the month, everything needs to be shipped to the hub. So February 29th, as it's a leap year, all beers should be at the hub. The hub will be determined based on who signs up. And the rest works similar to the SJ Pour Challenge, except there's no winner or loser here. You're going to do a narrative grading, which because it's going to be on the website, and that's not there yet, of course, but you'll do a narrative grading and your overall score for the beer based on your own personal preference. And in the end, it's really about your personal preference. However, for instance, I may like a beer that 80% of the population does not like. Well, I'm not always brewing for myself. I may be brewing for other people. So if I look at the outcome and the general consensus is this yeast works best with this recipe, then even though it may not have been my favorite, it's probably the right one to use. So there's those kind of takeaways you can get from the yeast experiment. So kind of excited about that. It hasn't been done in a while. Don't think there's been a yeast experiment for quite some time. There's been the hops experiments a few times and the grain experiments, but I think it's time. And there's so many different vendors out there that are making yeast. It's insane. You can't even. I don't even know. I just found out about Maniacal not too long ago. It's insane that there's just so many mini labs producing yeast. Plus, you have some name brand stuff like Imperial and Omega, and then the original guys, and then there's dry yeast as well. So, there's plenty of yeast to choose from, and this should be fun. So sign up before the slots are full, okay? And check out the website. I'm going to put a website tutorial right after this video. Cheers. Going to load on there is a slider. I'm going to pull from YouTube. So anything that's in the Brewtuber playlist will show up here on the slider, which gets updated regularly. This is the main page here. It's got some podcasts, meet some of the club members, general questions. And so the important things here are we have sponsors. Woody's Homebrew Supply is a sponsor. Woody's, if you click on this link, it'll take you to his website. The important thing about Woody's is that they're sponsoring Brewtubers this year, and they're also giving us a 10% discount on everything that we buy through Woody's. Make sure you use the Brewtubers promo code. It's just type in Brewtubers, that's it. And you'll get 10% off your order. And his prices are already very low, and he has free shipping over anything over like 50, I think. So then we have video meetings we're developing right now, but it takes you to the page that would have the meeting. So the last meeting here, it was just a quick test. So what would happen is that once a meeting was set up, everything, all the information for the video meeting would be in here, and then you would be able to click on the meeting as long as you were signed into Brewtubers, and then you'd be able to join the video meeting, which would also have a sidebar chat window. There was a few of you that would mention that it loads blurry. What's loading blurry is the one image that YouTube uses as a still shot for your video. So that would that is going to load blurry, and it has nothing to do with the site. It has something to do with the way YouTube uses the video tiles, and then of course this software tries to expand it to the full screen, and then it just looks blurry. But as soon as the initial tile is done loading and your video begins to load, it will show in clarity. Moving over to shop, you have the Brewtuber Gear and Brewtuber Marketplace. So Brewtuber Marketplace is in development as well. Still working out a few details on that, but basically you'll be able to go in here and put up all your used brewing gear and sell it to fellow Brewtubers. And then the Brewtuber Gear itself is also expanding. We're adding a lot more products, which would be glasses, t-shirts, hoodies, can coolers, stickers, magnets. These shirts come in different colors as well, and different thicknesses. We have a coffee mug, and the hat I'm not real pleased with. I'll probably take that off. I ordered it, and it was kind of, I mean, it was, the embroidery was nice, but the hat, I didn't like the way it fit. But it may fit other people. And Get Social, just there's blogs, and then there's also the forum, which has always all been revamped. Everything is all security tightened, so there's a lot less spam. What I really want to talk about is the yeast experiment this year. The sign up is January 1st through the end of the month. There's 12 slots. The yeast experiment itself is basically similar to the Hokie Homebrew yeast experiment way back in the day. We will be doing another yeast experiment, this time with a West Coast Style IPA. The recipe is forthcoming, but the rules are here. And then, of course, to sign up, you can re-click the link here. It'll experiment registration, and it'll also give you who's already signed up. But the links are also in the page as well. The rules, and on the first line of the rules, click here to see who's signed up, to see what yeasts have already been taken for the recipe style, which will be included in this page. But if you click on that, it'll take you to the same link. I put myself in there, but I'm going to take this out. This was just a placeholder to show you guys how that works. So when you sign up, there's a lot of information that you're putting in, but the only thing that shows up is these fields here. So that way the public doesn't have access to your information. And of course, from here, you can go right to register as well. You guys can register now, but I'm going to wipe everything out and start fresh January 1st. So this is the sign up area, which has a lot more information, which is needed for shipping purposes. So there's a facts page, tells you a lot about brew tubing, and then there also we have recipe share, brewing calculators, brewing tools, yeast resources, podcasts. I carried over in the Brewhouse series from Tony Yates, put it in here. If you want to download media content like Brewtubers emblem and outro, intro videos, there's a gallery where you can post your own pictures if you want, and then contact us. Recipe share, anybody can post a recipe up. If you want to upload a recipe for those to see, the recipes are at the bottom of the page. Some people put some up already. It's just a repository to put your recipes if you'd like. You could use it as a backup to some of your more famous recipes. For instance, Nate's IPA recipe. That would be nice to have up here. And sometimes when I reference a recipe in a video that I do, I'll mention that it's on Recipe Share, and that's what I'm talking about. It says open here. Open really doesn't work. Open will just cause it to load the code. So you want to download it and then open it with Beersmith 2 in this case. Acceptable files are Beersmith files, XML files, and PDF files. Click download, or you can right click on that and then say save target as, and it'll download the file, and then you'll be able to open it up with whatever software you're using. We're adding content all the time. The important one there is the video meeting. I think this is going to work out pretty cool. And if anyone out there wants to do their own video meetings, the nice thing about it is that it does on-site recording. So it's a third-party host. And as you're doing your meeting, it's being recorded. So just know that there's no confidential information. When you're using this, it's being recorded. And then we can use that and post it up on either Brewtubers or one of our channels, which whomever, let's say someone in the Northwest decided to have a meeting with maybe 4 or 5 folks. You would know that the meeting's being recorded, and then get the video, raw footage, and then edit it, and then post it on your site. Okay, yeah, so when the first time you go to the site, the Woodies will pop up like you saw. Then it won't show up again for the next 24 hours. If you click in here, you'll be able to see any of the new blog posts without having to go to the forums themselves. But if you want to, you can go right from here if there's something that piques your interest. So it's a quick way to check the forums without actually going to the forums. And if there's something that you want, you can just go in there and it takes you right to it. Well, I hope you found the tutorial of the website informative. It's been a lot of work getting this new site up and established. And if there's any content you'd like to see added or changed, just let me know. If you find any typos or broken links, also let me know. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the website tutorial. It's real quick. There's a lot more going on. We're updating content constantly, and I'm excited about the new website, and frankly, it needed to be updated. It had been a while, and the spam was killing us. So spam now is so minuscule and it's easy to control. So we're really happy about that. Anyway, any suggestions for the website? Anything you'd like to see added or removed? You know, shoot me an email in the contact form at the bottom of the main page, or you can leave a comment here in the video. Cheers, and I hope you enjoyed this. Take care.